Welcome to Link Up, a new show designed especially for Bulldog parents and caregivers like you. Link Up is your virtual connection to the people, stories, and news you can use from around the Olmsted Falls School District community. Link Up is brought to you by the OFCS Link Family and Community Engagement Program. LINK stands for Learn, Inspire, Nurture, Know. The Link Up series will feature topics and people that will help you learn how to do something new, inspire you, share ways to nurture your children and yourself, and keep you in the know. Link Up is hosted by Julianne Allen. That's me. I'm the Link Coordinator for Olmsted Falls Schools and a Bulldog parent. I'll be joined virtually by special guests from our school community who will share their stories, knowledge, and expertise and answer my tough and not so tough questions. You'll get to know more about your school district and have a few laughs along the way. Well, looks like everyone's here, so let's get to it. It's time to link up. My name is Julianne Allen, and this is Link Up, a regular video series for Bulldog parents where I connect you with the people and stories from all around Olmsted Falls City School District. So today's topic for our premiere episode is Bulldog Buddies Goes Virtual, where I will link up with Mr. Bartkowski and Miss Kenny from Olmsted Falls Middle School. So Mr. B and Miss Kenny, welcome to Link Up. I want to give you both an opportunity to say how excited you are to be in this premiere episode of Link Up. If this goes well, we can say you were here and you helped me got it all started. If it doesn't go well, we will all share in that blame.
Sounds good.
So first things first, who are you and what role do you play in Olmsted Falls Middle School?
So my name is Michelle Kenny. I am an 8th grade science teacher at Olmsted Falls Middle School. This is my 4th year here. In the last 3 years, I was in 7th grade ELA.
Okay.
And I'm Eric Bartkowski. I teach 6th grade science at the middle school. I also run our Bulldog Theater company as well.
Okay. Well, thank you. So you're on the front lines at the middle school, guys, right? In middle school, can be difficult, sometimes can also be very cool, but there's a lot of ups and downs and emotions and friend groups change and new responsibilities, and that's like just on the bus ride on the way to school. So a lot can happen in middle school. So being that you are on the front lines, I'm thinking back to myself here in middle school and in all my awkwardness, in 7th grade and remembering my braces and thinking about like in a pandemic, already being awkward and just, but then I'm thinking like a mask may not have been so bad. But still, middle school is hard enough. And now we have this pandemic. So I know it's been difficult for kids, challenging. I know it's been challenging for teachers. So tell me what it's like to be a middle school teacher this year.
Oh man, it's been it's definitely been challenging. It's been very tricky to navigate all the different ways that students are coming into our classroom and learning. So we have students in front of us. We have students on meets. We have students who are joining it at simultaneous times, and so just trying to take attendance at the beginning of the class is even just an ordeal now. And so once we get through who's here and who's where and everything, it's a matter of trying to still be engaging and meet the needs of everybody regardless of where they are. That's really been the biggest difference that has been really hard to wrap our head around. And personally, I feel like I still haven't even wrapped my head around it. Like I think I'm still 3 schedules behind.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure that out.
That's understandable. What about you, Miss Kenny?
I would just echo what Eric said. This year is honestly just all about adaptability. with just schedules constantly changing and, kids coming in and out, it really has been tough. But I think a little bit of the blessing is that we have a new appreciation for being in school. The kids have a new appreciation for school. I have a little bit of a different experience just having been with my group in 7th grade, that ending in March, and then kind of reconnecting with them now that I'm up with them in 8th grade this year. And we were just talking about, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been almost a year already since it all happened. But it honestly is so nice to hear them have such a stronger appreciation for being in school. And I think the blessing is kind of like Eric said, we have had to adapt the way that we teach and the way that we connect with our kids. And I think that we are becoming stronger teachers because of it.
I really admire you both for showing up every day because as a virtual remote school helper here at home on some days, there are days when I'm like, I quit, I'm not doing this. But you guys have to be there. You have to show up. So I really appreciate that. And I think parents have also learned to really appreciate that too. I think that maybe is the silver lining in this big old cloud we've been under for a while, is that it has made a lot of us realize, wow, this is really hard to be a teacher. I'm not cut out for this. This is not, I never wanted to do this, so I think maybe that's been eye-opening for many of us too. And we've learned to appreciate school a lot more too, and realize how important that is for our kids just to have that daily interaction. And so, well, you guys talked a little bit about, how it's been a little more difficult to connect with students. So I know that students really need connection, even in middle school, when sometimes they may act like they don't want to talk to you or whatever it may be. We still, I think, all crave that and need that. But with our situation, we can't just do things the way we used to do them. So in a traditional school year, I know we had a Bulldog Buddies program. How does that program look in a traditional school year?
So in a traditional school year, our program primarily focuses on 6th grade students that are new to the middle school setting, getting adjusted to a new building, higher expectations for them academically. And, they're the youngest in the building, they're the smallest in the building, and that's scary and it's overwhelming. And a lot of the 6th grade students, I think, really struggle with it. They're in a little bit of shell shock. And so in a traditional year, we take those 6th grade students who maybe need more opportunity to connect, to socialize, to just kind of relax and enjoy each other's company. And we pair them up with 7th grade students who we see as being really strong potential mentors. And we essentially just plan activities. We have the 7th grade mentors plan activities and, show those leadership skills and really kind of take the 6th graders under their wing and make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home, and give them, a friend at the school that can help them along the way.
I think that's really important because the transition from OFIS to middle school, and I was thinking about this morning, if we really think about our 6th graders this year, the end of their 5th grade year ended somewhat abruptly in terms of the in-person aspect of it. So a lot of those rites of passage at the end of 5th grade that kind of maybe make you feel like you're ready to go to middle school, even just doing, your locker. I mean, that kind of stuff, a lot of that, it was almost like it was kind of cut off, and then the rest of the year was at home. And so I imagine a lot of those 6th graders maybe felt apprehensive or even a little lost. So obviously we needed to do something different than the traditional program. So Mr. B, what happened with Bulldog Buddies this year?
So when we sat down with Mr. Kurz, with our counselors, for our first kind of pre-meet of what Bulldog Buddies would look like this year, the thing that Michelle and I kept coming back to was this idea that school is about connection, and middle school especially is about having a strong connection to each other as a student, to your teachers, to your content. Like, connection is the utmost important thing in middle school, more than anything else. And we tried to identify, because in our previous, iterations of Bulldog Buddies, like we identified those who needed that extra connection. And so we thought, okay, well, who needs the connection now? It's our remote kids. It's our kids who have not set foot in the building this year. It's our kids who their only connection to school really is content driven, and they remote in for the class, they do the work, but outside of that, there's no social connection. And I know first and foremost, like, kids don't come to my classroom for the engaging content. They come to
You're kidding me.
I know, isn't it crazy? It's surprising. Like they come to.
It's not what I've heard, Mr. B. I don't know.
I mean, rocks themselves are fantastic, but like they come for that sharing the glance with the kid next to them, and having those between class conversations. And so there's a whole segment of our middle school population that have not had that this year. And so we thought, okay, let's take the format of Bulldog Buddies, which is providing just fun, relaxed experiences, and figure out a way to provide it solely to those who are remote, and help them to get a sense of identity within our middle school. So that's kind of the kernel that started it.
No, that's good. So what happens at a Bulldog Buddies event, and how do you keep it interesting? Because we know, tweens and teens, they're very quick to tell you if something is boring, right? It's like,
oh yeah.
So what do you do at a meeting? What is it like?
Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, the biggest challenge that Eric and I assumed we would be facing is, how do we make this feel like not a class, not because it's at the end of the day, it's after they've been sitting in front of a computer for 8+ hours already. So how do we make this exciting and engaging and something that they actually want to come do, rather than another class that they have to participate in? And so we really just kind of started brainstorming ways that we could virtually have fun with these kids. In a typical year in person, we're playing games, we're doing activities, and online it's difficult to do that. So our first meeting, can I get into kind of specifics of what we've done?
Sure.
Our first meeting, we really wanted to get to know the kids and help them get to know each other without it being a corny icebreaker or get to know you activity. So we had the kids just bring one item that means something to you, that you feel really represents you well or is personal to you. And everybody just kind of went around and shared, and really connected on things that you might not necessarily get in a classroom, instruction setting where you're just talking about content. And we told the kids, this group is about you. If there's an activity that you think would be really fun, that you think the other kids would enjoy, let us know. And we immediately had a couple students reach out, share some ideas, and that's kind of keeping the ball rolling.
Yeah, and like the kind of going off of what Michelle said, we're keeping it short, like because we recognize, like she said, that the time is, being on the screen, for a full day is a lot. So we purposely are shortening our time to make it more engaging. We also it's really cool because on that first day when we were sharing things, every single student was engaged. The chat was relaxed and robust, and it was like we got a sense, like after the meet ended, like we debriefed and we talked, and like we were really glad that we were able to offer it, because like you could just tell the need was there, and it just like exploded in this awesome, joyful interaction that we had. And it just like from there we've gone into asking for ideas from students for activities and things. But just that initial moment of just joy, everybody felt it in the group. Like it was like palpable. Like it was really cool.
We weren't sure what the turnout would be, but the need for it was immediate. I mean, the kids left the meeting. Eric and I were sitting there, and I had tears in my eyes. I mean, it was heartwarming to see that, we we were able to provide them that space to just relax and connect and actually be together in a social setting.
So it sounds like you've got good feedback from kids. And did you hear from parents at all or about the program?
Yes, yeah, we've gotten several emails from parents, very positive, just thanking us for offering it, and even just citing examples of, like, they're seeing the enthusiasm in their child on the end, getting ready to log into the meet, not even knowing what we do in the meet, just seeing that they're excited to be there. So
I think it's really cool because it would have been really easy to say, well, we can't do the program this year and just not do anything. So the fact that you found a way to make this work, it's awesome. And that's how we do things in Olmsted Falls. We don't just say we're not going to do it, right, guys?
Okay. You gotta pivot.
So we are going to be returning on February 22nd. Those students whose parents have chosen for them to go back to the full 5-day a week in person. So then what happens to this group? Because this group was created for our full remote students. So
we intend to keep the group going. Out of our students who initially came to that first meeting, only a couple are returning back to in person. The rest are as of right now planning to stay remote. So we intend on keeping the group going. We're very new into it. We've only had 2-3 meetings so far. So we're still even welcoming new people in. And we've even told those kids who have returned, you'll always be welcome here. This will always be a space, you guys made those connections and that's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I think that's great because I'm thinking about how difficult it is and to make friends really at any age. I mean, it's a struggle as an adult sometimes, especially when you're stuck in your house. Oh, yeah. Walk back and forth behind me. I told them all, stay out, and they're still walking back and forth. But, we're all stuck in our homes or in our little, our little nooks here. And it is isolating. So I'm thinking, I think it's great that even if someone is now going to be making that leap to going in person, you're not saying, well, you can't sit with us, you're no longer, because that's silly. And I think that's great to still provide that and until people, can get more comfortable with however it looks on the 22nd and beyond. So do we have any idea what's going to happen next year? Oh, that's the question of the hour. With Bulldog Buddies, what do you foresee happening with it?
Well, I think, again, a lot can happen between now and the beginning of the next school year, but I think the constant that is not going to change or not going to, waver is that need for connection. Yeah. And that just, as a middle school student, you need to, be able to identify with, some other group or somebody that, you can trust. And so whatever it looks like next year, there's going to be some version of Bulldog Buddies that will, be there to welcome anybody and everybody who needs a little bit of extra, something in their life. So, again, if it's all virtual, if it's hybrid, if it's, if we're all going to
don't give any more options. I'm afraid if you.
So who knows what it's going to be next year, but
yes, we don't want to put it out there and then maybe have it happen. I forgot to ask this though. So Michelle, let's say we do have someone that is going to be new to the full remote. How do they get involved in this, or where do they find? Is there a classroom code? How do they get involved?
We are on Google Classroom. That's the platform that we're using.
Okay.
We initially sent out an email just to every parent contact that we had the email of for the remote students. So if we missed anybody, people are more than welcome to reach out to myself or Eric or the principals, and we can get them connected with the code so that they can join us. We're definitely still accepting any and everybody.
Okay. So before we go, first of all, I do want to encourage our parents who are watching, if you don't have a middle school student, still reach out to your building, because there are other programs going on for other age groups, clubs and organizations that your kid can get involved in. So it's not, this is a middle school program right now. Who knows what will happen We never know. Maybe other buildings will decide to adopt something like this. But there are other opportunities. So if you feel as though your student is isolated or not making friends or whatever it may be, don't sit silent. Sometimes we have to kind of give them that little nudge or help them a little bit. And feel free to reach out to your building principals, because I know that they want to help and they want our kids to feel connected. And so just, if you don't have a middle schooler, it's okay. But if you do, and they're not part of this yet, and they're going to be full remote, make sure you let them know about this in case they didn't know. So before I let you go, I do have one more question. So, and this is a tough one, but I have a feeling you both will have something good to tell me, because I told you I was going to ask you this in advance. Because it is a hard question and I didn't want to put you on the spot. So what would you like parents to know about middle school students? How can we best support, encourage, empower our kids in these really challenging times?
Well, I would say now more than ever, it's important to know that their social and their emotional well-being is just as important, if not more important, than their academic success right now. If your student is struggling, they are certainly not alone in it. I tell my kids all the time, I'm struggling and I'm an adult. I cannot imagine how it must feel to be 12, 13, 14 years old going through this. But, just know that they're not alone in this. This is hard for everybody, and there are resources out there to support them, like this one.
Yeah, and kind of building off of that, Michelle, a middle school student, they crave connection, but they're learning how to positively make that connection. And so when they don't pick up their room, when they, miss a homework assignment, like, that's them learning, that's them reaching out and trying to. And so biggest thing I can offer as a teacher to a parent is that moment of patience and pause before you react in a certain way to whatever your child has done. And that idea of maybe taking the time to ask them, how do you want me to respond at this time? Because any time that they do something or say something to you is a moment to positively connect. And they just don't know how to do it very well yet. So taking that time and even asking them, okay, I see what you're sharing. I hear what you're sharing. Do you want me to listen to you right now? Do you want me to try to solve the problem for you right now? Do you want me to just cry with you right now? Like, just allowing them to take the lead in the connection making. And now more than ever, there's a lot of stuff happening to have those moments, and our patience is running thin, unfortunately. So all more than ever, take that extra breath and have that pause before you take that moment to really positively connect with your son or daughter.
That's great advice from both of you. And I feel like you're both speaking to me. Even though my child is in high school now, I'm still learning how to, I don't know, there is no manual in case anyone is asking for one. I don't know where it would be to tell me how to be a good parent. So I know we're all kind of doing the best we can. And I want to say, as a Olmsted Falls parent, thank you, because I know our middle school is not like other middle schools. I feel like our middle school, and even I'll have parents that'll tell me how scared they were for their kid to go to middle school. And maybe at one point I was like that too, but once they were actually in middle school, I'm like, this is like really pretty good. I mean, one cares, they're good kids, good teachers, the principals and the principal and assistant principal are awesome. It's a safe place. It's been very positive. I really feel, well, we have the best middle school. That's all I'm going to say. I always tell Mr. Kurtz, and Mr. Kurtz is my favorite. He knows that. So I think that's about all, because you guys did so awesome. So that was our premiere episode of Link Up. And I want to thank Mr. Barkowski and Miss Kenny for sharing their stories today. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for having us.
I hope it wasn't too painful. So anybody who's watching, if you have a good idea for a story or a person you think we should highlight on this new adventure here, Link Up, please send me a message. You can email me at ofcslink@ofcs.net, or you can send me a message, or you can tweet me at ofcslink on Twitter. And please like and share. If you did not like, you can still share and let that other person make up their own mind. Maybe they will disagree with you and think this was fantastic. I personally thought it was awesome. This was a lot of fun, and I'm so grateful to you for taking time on a Friday afternoon of a 3-day weekend. Sit and talk with me about Bulldog Buddies, and what you're doing is super important, and I hope that we can maybe pick up a few more students who might not know about it, or at least let parents know that there are things going on out there that can help their kids be involved and connected. So thank you so much, and thank you to all of our Bulldog families for all you do for your kids. We know it's not easy right now. Hang in there, and we will see you the next time we link up. Bye, guys.